Welcome to Disney Planning Insights. This is a replay of our DPI News and Notes show that we do every Tuesday over on Facebook. To see my smiling face, find us on Facebook at DPI Podcast or on YouTube at the Disney Planning Insights Podcast. Now enjoy this episode after a short ad from our friends at Anchor. Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome to Disney Planning Insights. Through creative content and live shows, we explain the hidden details of the Disney experience so that our clients can execute memorable adventures. Together with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel, we have helped hundreds of clients plan, book, and prepare for magical Disney vacations. Let our experience help you avoid common planning mistakes and maximize the enjoyment on your next Disney trip. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Matt with the DPI Podcast. It is Tuesday night, which means it is DPI Live night, and it is a wonderful place to be. If you are here, thank you very much. If you're not here and you're listening on the rebroadcast or watching it after Tuesday night, thank you much. Make sure you hit those like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want. That's like the one that I'm not too concerned about. So, but like and subscribe and tell a friend. Let's keep growing this community. Have been having some great conversations with people since the Disney Paris trip about going overseas and enjoying the parks that are not in the United States, because there are some cool things to check out around the world that Disney offers. So like I said, we've got Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel, waiting for him to kind of jump on the teams here, and as soon as he jumps on the teams, I'll kind of get him in, but I'm not going to wait too long because I want to go ahead and get into the news, because we do have a lot going on. The reason why I led with the Disney 100 is Walt Disney World basically started their Disney 100 celebration this week, and with that came kind of a lot of the things that we were talking about last week, where this month for April is more about conservation, and it's more about the celebration of the 25th anniversary of Animal Kingdom. And at the end of the month, Animal Kingdom will get what seems to sound like a long run Moana meet and greet at the park. And if I would have to guess, it's going to take the place of the Pocahontas meet and greet that's between Discovery Island and Dino Land USA, kind of right across from Flame Tree Barbecue, and it's down a path, and it's kind of hidden really well. So interesting to see where that's going to end up. We'll see. But also we got Tron opening today for real, 404. We had Happily Ever After coming back last night. We've got EPCOT Forever coming back over at World Showcase Lagoon. So we've got a lot going on with the parks as far as Disney 100 goes. Now, what Magic Kingdom and the rest of Walt Disney World's going to do over the next 6 months is kind of dedicate months to different things. So you're going to have a Star Wars month, which is next month. You're going to have a Princess month. You're going to have a Frozen month. You're going to have a Fab 5 month. And then as it makes its way over to EPCOT, we're hoping that we get the new EPCOT show at the beginning of the celebration of EPCOT in September, which is also D23 at the Contemporary. So we're hoping that we see that come to fruition as well. They're going to have to take down the barges that are in World Showcase Lagoon, put in any new show structure that would need to be installed in the lagoon for a new show, and then hopefully run some tests and that kind of stuff prior to that. So hopefully we get to September and it's there. If not, we've got a couple of other options on us going down to check that out. So real quick, let's get into some solo news. And what we'll do on the solo news is we're just going to go through and just kind of rapid fire the stuff that's come out with Reedy Creek and that kind of stuff. So let's get into the news. All right, we've got 15 minutes on the news timer, and we're going to go over to the Twitterscape, and we are going to start talking some news because Twitter seems to be the best place to get the news. So let's go down. Disney 100. Cruise line. Disney Cruise Line and Singapore Tourism Board are bringing the magical cruise vacations to Southeast Asia for the first time with the new Disney cruise ship beginning in 2025. This is that huge cruise ship that they bought off the Chinese company. They are making that the Southeast Asia cruise ship, which makes sense. It's built like the ships that are set to sail over there. And it's going to be there for at least the next 5 years. So starting in 2025 through 2030, it will be there. So this ship will not make it to an American port before 2030. So we're looking at least 7 years away for that. Excuse me. Disneyland Paris suspends all new annual pass sales. This was kind of a surprise last week. Again, when we started thinking about Paris, I started getting on a bunch of Disney Paris tips and tricks, Facebook pages and groups and that kind of stuff. And this caught a lot of people by surprise last week when Disneyland Paris announced that they were going to suspend all new sales. Now, if you have a pass, it's still good. If you want to renew your pass, you still can. But you cannot buy a new pass. There is rumor going around that Disney is going to get rid of the annual pass as we know it relatively soon. And it seems to be being driven by local usage of the annual pass allotment. So a lot of, like Disneyland California, it's a local park. A lot of locals get annual passes, use their annual passes a lot, and maximize that value. Same thing with Orlando residents and the Florida passes. Same thing with the Paris passes. I found out that a lot of locals will day trip, take the train in, spend 3 or 4 hours at the park and leave. And those are the people that do not spend the same amount of money at the parks as a one-time or a limited visitor would, because they wouldn't have the access to the items. And there has been some discussion back and forth on this between myself and some of my Twitter friends and that kind of stuff. And basically the local defense to this is, well, we go to the parks more, we eat at the restaurants more, that kind of stuff, and it makes sense. It does, but you're still utilizing the most expensive part. Like a Florida annual pass for World is like, I think it's under $300. Now it's got a lot of blackout dates, but if you use that pass for 3 days, you've made your money on that pass basically. For an out-of-state resident, it is $1,400 for the pass. So for an out-of-state resident, I basically have to take 3 5-day vacations to get my money out of that pass. And there you see the problem. So I think there's going to be a big overhaul on the annual pass system, and we'll see that here in the relatively near future. Just trying to figure out what that's going to look like when it comes around. We'll keep you up to date on what's going on with that. I'm trying to get Mr. Salvadori over on the show here real quick. So we're having some little technical difficulties. If you are a fan of the channel, you noticed on Friday we released our first of our Disneyland Paris series. We released the video of Disney Stars on Parade. This is their major parade, just like Walt Disney World. They've got the major parade, and then they've got a smaller parade that they run more than once during the day. I say smaller, but it's an enormous parade, and I'm actually going to put a lot more time into that video than the Stars on Parade one, because that was just a single shot. But Stars on Parade, really cool. The one thing about Disneyland Paris that was really cool was they are more artistic in the park than Walt Disney World. I think one of the big things that has plagued Walt Disney World here recently, of course, has been the lack of design element in a lot of the spaces. Disneyland Paris, you don't get a whole lot of that lack of design, and in this parade you see a whole lot of elaborate floats, elaborate costuming, that kind of stuff. It's a really good parade. So jump over to the YouTube page, Disney Planning Insights, and check that out if you haven't. And again, hit that like and subscribe button. Really helps out the channel, and we appreciate it a ton. With Tron opening today, we got the Tron merchandise kind of dump on what was going to be at the parks. The big thing that came out was Magic Bands, Standard, Magic Band 2, and a Magic Band Plus. So Magic Band Plus is coming in that special case. So if you are a collector of the special edition Magic Band Pluses, you'll get that special case there. Genie Plus. Genie Plus, it's funny because I had a conversation with not necessarily a client, but a friend of a family member last week, talking about maximizing time this week, because we knew it was going to be a super busy week, and he talked about Genie Plus. Genie Plus the last 3 days has sold out in record time each of the last 3 days, and today Genie Plus was $35 per guest. That is the most expensive it has ever been. So you look at a family of four, that's $140 for a family of four. That's insane when you're thinking about Genie Plus. Where on a less busy day, it's only about $15. So yeah, that's crazy. Genie Plus to me is still, on days like this, it's very much a money grab more than it is a benefit in the park. You might get 2 or 3 fast passes out of it, lightning lanes out of it. But when you think about that $35, is that $35 worth an extra 15 or 20 minutes in some of these lines? I don't know. Again, I've never really been a fan of Genie Plus. I like the old Fast Pass system. I don't necessarily like the new Genie Plus system. I think you just got to plan your day a lot better. Earnings call. Iger's very optimistic about the future of Disney, talking about spending $17 billion over the next 10 years to bring in a bunch more people. Okay. Disney's going to make money hand over fist, and as long as they don't squander it away in the multimedia side of it, you're probably not going to see a huge issue when it comes to Disney Plus. If they keep trying to spin off every series and keep putting the money into doing that, I think you're going to see some problems with Disney Plus. You're going to see Disney Plus kind of go through the roof as far as subscription price, and I think you're going to see a lot of people stop subscribing. I think that's going to be the way of the subscription service here real soon. They're either going to parse it down really, really thin and do a lot of reruns, or they're going to jack up prices a whole lot because they're starting to see how much it actually costs to produce a lot of these series now. So, kind of is what it is. Past that, that's about it for the news. Still trying to figure out what's going on with Mr. Salvadori. I haven't got any information from him yet, so I would imagine he's going to try and jump on here in the next minute, try and do a top 3. So while we're waiting for him, we'll talk a little bit more about our Disneyland Paris trip. Disneyland Paris, we just got back. Yeah, it's been a week and a half now since we got back. Really cool experience. Family's first time overseas. Lots of just little unique things, and let's focus on one really unique thing right now, just because Walt Disney World doesn't have it, and it's their dining plan. So their dining plan is basically, what is there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's like 9 dining plans. So there's a breakfast, a half board, a full board. Then there's a half board plus a half board extra plus a full board plus a full board extra plus. And there's just a lot of variations. So you kind of have to read through the variations to understand what you're getting. So basically with your half board, you get breakfast at your hotel every day, plus you get a meal credit for anywhere else that accepts the meal credits, except for the 2 character dining locations, unless you pay the top-up charge and book in advance. So, yeah, 1 dining credit, and then you can quick service or whatever you want. It's no big deal. Full board, breakfast at your hotel, 2 dining credits every day. So you get your lunch and your dinner. Honestly, there are not a lot of restaurants at Disneyland Paris. So each hotel has 1 or 2 restaurants in it. One of them is your buffet, which is going to be your breakfast buffet. The other one may be another buffet, or it might be a sit-down style service restaurant. When you get into Disney Springs, or Disney Village, as they call it, you have a few more options in there. And then in the parks, you have 4 or 5 options basically at each park. Again, it's not a ton. It's not like you would think Walt Disney World with a ton of open reservation space. It's actually, some of the better restaurants do command, you book as soon as you possibly can. So if you get a dining plan, some of the restaurants you can book up to a year out. Some of them will only book 60 days out. Some of them will book 3 days out. Some of them won't know their restaurant hours until the month before, so you don't know what the last reservation is going to be. There's all kinds of just weird little nuance to their dining plan. So also what you get with your dining plan, and we didn't utilize this near enough, is you get 4 hot drinks per person every day. So in each hotel, usually by the elevators or the lifts, there are coffee machines. So if you think about like your work break room coffee vending machine, that's kind of what these are. And you basically put your magic pass up on there and you can get free drinks. So like our family, we could have gotten 16 free hot drinks every day, which in all honesty we probably could have used. It was cold and rainy and I won't say miserable, but it was challenging to stay warm but not sweat. So join now. That's weird. Still no Mr. Salvadori. So we're on the hope train now. So yeah, so it was a challenging condition. Hot drinks would have been nice, especially walking to the parks in the morning would have been a refreshing thing to have. Now coming back, we utilized the buffet in our hotel a couple of times, which was really nice. They were very simplistic buffets. When you think of it, I would say take Chef Mickey's and knock it down a couple of rungs, and that's what you were looking at your buffets at your hotels. And then, the breakfast buffet was a standard breakfast buffet. You had eggs, bacon, a couple of different varieties of sausage, a bunch of breaded items, that kind of stuff, pastries, all that kind of fun stuff. So, it had its pluses and minuses. The Plaza Gardens buffet at Disneyland Park, which was the character breakfast, was infinitely better than the one at the hotel. So those top-ups for the meals were worth it. I think they were two of the better meals that we had. So that was Plaza Gardens and then Auberge de Cendrillon in Studios Park, or in Disneyland Park. We also ate at the Stark Factory over at Studios. We ate at Pim Kitchen at Studios. We ate at Bistro Chez Remy at Studios. They were all very, very good. Pim Kitchen was a buffet, but it was a very unique buffet as far as all of the items had either been shrunk with Pim particles or grown with Pim particles. So there's a massive cheeseburger that they take slices and that kind of stuff, and they they serve you that as part of your meal. So pretty cool. Actually, a couple of our souvenirs, the ruler and the couple of small beer steins are from Pim Kitchen. So, pretty cool there. Still haven't heard from Peter. He might be on a ride. I don't know what's going on. So, really what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to end this relatively early. Let me go over to the other screen here and we can at least get a better view. All right, so no Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel tonight. Like I said, is at EPCOT, so who knows? Like I said, he could be on a ride, he could be in a meal, he could just be drinking with some of his buddies down there and forget that he was going on the show. All of them are very logical explanations for him not being on the show tonight. Things that we do have coming up, we've got some catch up on the podcast side as far as the shows around the Paris trip. I didn't get all of them cut and over to the Anchor podcasting site. So if you are one of our subscribers on Apple, sorry about that. I will get those up hopefully by the end of the week. This week from the Paris trip, we are going to have Lion King, Rhythms of the Pride Lands, quite possibly the best show on any Disney property. And I'm talking cruise lines, I'm talking all of the parks. It's crazy good. And we had a fantastic view of it. So definitely want to check that out on Friday morning. That's when it's going to release on the YouTube channel. And check out the rest of our Paris content. We're going to have a ton of Paris content coming out of this trip. So we released Stars on Parade. We've got Rhythms of the Pride Lands. I've got the Disney Delight drone show ready to go. I've got Illuminations, their nighttime fireworks show ready to go. I've got Dream and Shine Brighter, which is their special 30th anniversary parade that I'm working on right now. We've got the Disney Junior Dream Factory show, which I need to get working on. That's probably released in about 5-6 weeks or so, something like that. So we've got a ton coming. Not to mention, we are going to do very similar to what we've done with Walt Disney World. We're going to do park detail series as far as Disneyland Paris and Walt Disney Studios Paris, so that, you know, we can kind of detail the areas. There were some really, really cool things that we did at those parks that you may or may not be able to do over here, which is, you know, I think that's one of the cool things about visiting the park in Paris, was the subtle differences in what we were able to do there. You know, they've got a 7-door or a Snow White and the 7 Doors ride that is similar to Snow White's Scary Adventure. They've got a Pinocchio ride that's a dark ride in that same ilk. They've got a Peter Pan that's a little bit different. They've got a Pirates of the Caribbean that's a little bit different. Their teacups are a little bit different. They've got 2 little rides in the back. The Casey Jr. Le Petit Circus Train. And then there's a boat ride back there as well. The boat ride, we have 360 video that we're going to release for that. So there's just a lot over there that's really cool. Their Hyperspace Mountain, their variation of Space Mountain is really cool. Their Autopia, which is their Tomorrowland Speedway, is very unique. So just, like I said, just a really, really, really cool experience. Also, they've got an Avengers campus. They're going to have a Frozen area here by the end of next year. And I would imagine at D23, they are going to announce another land over at their Studios Park. They were supposed to get a Galaxy's Edge. It looks like the rumor is right now that it's going to be a Pandora. We'll see. Either way, it's going to be really, really cool. So we'll wait and find out. So if you stuck with me tonight, thank you very much. Thanks for watching the show. Definitely hit those like and subscribe buttons on the YouTube channel. Follow us on your favorite podcast. You know, all those things. They help out the channel. They get us out there a little bit more. And we will continue bringing the magic to you. Again, this is Matt with the Disney Planning Insights podcast, and we are going to go into the outro. Hey, no guests tonight, just me. Talked a little bit of news, Disney 100, Tron opening, that kind of stuff. And we talked a little bit more about the Paris trip. On the World Wide Web, you can find us in a lot of different places. The easiest is going to be over on Facebook at DPI Podcast for the podcast side, at PATM Disney Travel for the travel side. If you want to have a conversation, best place is Disney Insights on Twitter. And of course, we always have the YouTube channel, the Disney. Thank you guys all for watching, listening, subscribing, all that. We appreciate you. Have a good week. We'll talk to you next week. Bye now.